Are you interested in learning more about gluten? You've heard about the gluten-free movement and you don't know if it is for you and how to even start going about going gluten-free. Today's video is for you. Hi, I'm Taylor Wessel, nutritionist of Tailored Health, and every week I pop on here to share a tip, tool, or technique that will help you be your healthiest self. And today we're cracking the code on gluten. We're going to talk about what it is, where it's found, the potential harms, and how to go about eliminating it from your diet. So let's talk about what gluten is. It is actually the protein component found in wheat and other grains such as rye, barley, and even oats. So this protein component makes bread stretchy and malleable. You often find gluten in breads, pasta, any flour products, cereal, some crackers even, a lot of the middle aisle goods, the prepackaged snack foods, baked goods. You can even find it in soy sauce and a lot of the different dressings and marinades, teriyaki sauce. So you really have to keep a good eye out for gluten and kind of know what you're looking for when reading ingredient labels. Why gluten can be harmful to the system is because, well, there's celiac disease, and this is an autoimmune reaction to the ingestion of gluten. This causes the immune system to be alerted and to start breaking down the small intestine when somebody with celiac ingests gluten. Now that's a small portion of the population that's truly celiac and needs to stay away from gluten 100% of the time. Most people are gluten sensitive. Up to 70% of Americans, according to Dr. Tom O'Brien, cannot digest gluten, the protein component found in wheat. That's a lot of the population. So the scary part is that up to 80% of those 70% of Americans that cannot digest gluten don't necessarily feel it in the gut. You would think if you're eating something and reacting, you feel stomachache or bloated, gassy, indigestion type symptoms. But up to 80% of those people actually have cognitive impairments. So whether it's memory lapse or just not being as sharp as usual, thoughts not coming quickly to the brain, feeling that kind of brain fog and just like you're living in a cloud, that could be due to the ingestion of gluten and just being sensitive to it. And many people don't even react at all. They don't have obvious symptoms. So real quick, my story with gluten is that about 10 years ago when I was studying nutrition, maybe a little bit longer, I naturally just started to eat really healthy and clean, and from the outside of the aisles of the grocery store, not kind of ducking into the inner aisles except for whole grains and legumes, eating mostly vegetables and fruits, nuts, seeds, just real raw foods. So without even thinking about it, I was cutting out gluten, which again, found in bread and pasta and crackers, cereal, all of those middle aisle processed foods. Well, after quite a bit of time of this and just feeling really good, I went to a friend's birthday party and had a Blue Moon, a wheat beer, and I reacted like crazy. I was incredibly bloated and had to actually go down for a nap. If you know me, you know I am not a napper. It's really hard for me, but I just was so physically exhausted, felt so heavy and drained, and there is so much wheat packed into a wheat beer. And then there's also yeast and malt and all sorts of other things going on there, but it hit me like a ton of bricks. Anyways, that's when I realized, I started peeling back the layers, like what is going on here? Why do I feel like this? And I sourced it back to gluten, and now I do feel crummy whenever I eat gluten-containing products. It feels good to not be so strict with diet, but this is one that I stick to. I would say 99.9% of the time I am gluten-free just because I know the harms of it. So let's kind of transition into the harms of what gluten can be doing. It destroys the gut lining. It starts to wear away at the 1 cell thin lining of your whole GI, your gastrointestinal tract. And what happens here is it starts to create these holes in your gut, referred to as leaky gut. And when that happens, is that protein and food components and anything that's supposed to go through the digestive system and out the other side or absorbed into the cells gets out into the bloodstream and causes the immune system to react. Now, this can be celiac and an autoimmune type condition, maybe rheumatoid arthritis or MS. Lots of different autoimmune conditions can benefit from cutting gluten out of the diet. But it can also be seasonal allergies, brain fog, fatigue. When the immune system is constantly being primed because you're having something that you're reacting to, you're just tired and your body can't fight off other things and do its other jobs within the body. So there can be gut issues, you can have bloating, you can have gas, you can also have that cognitive impairment. So that brain fog, memory loss, just not feeling as sharp as you once were, aches and pain in your joints, your muscles, your tendons, just feeling exhausted all of the time, frequent colds and flu. A lot of this can just come back to being sensitive to certain foods and then still continuing to eat them. And gluten is one of the top inflammatory foods and one of the #1 that I have people, my clients, cut out of their diet to see if we can't start seeing shifts and help them reach their health goals. So, how do you start with a gluten-free diet? There's all sorts of gluten-free products on the market, from cookies and cakes, which are naturally gluten containing, to even oats that are gluten-free. So what do? My advice to you is to eat as natural of a diet as possible, things without ingredient labels, because then you don't even have to be concerned about it. So that's shopping the produce section, eating fish and eggs and possibly some grass-fed beef in moderation, eating legumes, whole grains. So grains that are not gluten containing are quinoa, actually a seed, not a grain, rice, so any kind of rice, brown rice, red rice, even white rice, although white rice is stripped of the health promoting components, so I would urge you to go for brown or red or multigrain, even basmati, instead of going for the white rice. Amaranth, buckwheat, millet, these are all gluten-free grains. And the best part is that if you are jonesing for bread, which naturally contains gluten, especially your 100% whole wheat or whole grain bread, almost always, unless you're looking for gluten-free, it does contain gluten, is that you can find so many different gluten-free products on the market nowadays. It's a buzzword, it's trending, it has been for a while, so you can find a gluten-free bread, you can find a gluten-free cracker or chip, you can find gluten-free cookies or pastries, you can get your fix, but the more that you're going for the natural food items like the whole grain, the legume, the fruits, the vegetables, the healthier off that you'll be. Stop relying on the middle aisle goods to sustain you and fulfill your diet. Bulk up on the outer aisles and then duck into the inner aisles to kind of fill in the pieces there. I hope this helped you to kind of shed some light on gluten, what it is, the major harms of it, where it's found, and then also how to start going about a gluten-free diet. If you like this video, give it a like, share a comment with me, tell me what's been your experience with going gluten-free or even having gluten in your diet. Did any of this resonate with you? And if you like this also and you want more from me, subscribe to my channel. Every week I'm sharing something like this that will educate you and give you a little motivation or some tips and tools to just do that little bit better. I hope you have a great rest of your day.